Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. Today, Scott joins me and we start the recaps from the Be Our Guest podcast cruise trip. And today we are talking about the pre-cruise stuff, the stay at the Boardwalk Inn. Scott was down there a few days before I got there. He celebrated the 4th of July around Walt Disney World. So we talks about some great meals being at Epcot on the 4th. And then we talk about our meal at Rosa, Mexicana. Pretty unexpected, but pretty awesome. Our great podcast meetup at Splitsville and many other stories with all that anticipation of going over to Port Canaveral and boarding the Disney Magic with so many of our listeners. And I just want to thank everybody who sailed with us. It was such a great time on the Magic, but we'll get to the cruise here in an upcoming show. Today was all the fun we had at Walt Disney World pre-cruise. So come along with us. We had a good time even before we got over to the Space Coast. Don't forget, today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure to have just as much fun as we had last week. You can just drop by the website, themagicforless.com, fill out that free, no obligation quote. We'll take care of you right from there and no additional cost to you. So again, check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. With every purchase that supports the show, it's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys make the show possible. Could not do this without your support. You can support us for just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd sure love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Welcome to episode 2728 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're getting ready for an awesome weekend. I know that this weekend will not be quite as eventful as, well, last weekend I was back already, but I was, still having that cruise hangover. Scotty was still down at Walt Disney World having a good time playing some golf and having some epic meals and wrapping up a great trip. But that's what we're going to talk about today. Scotty G joining me from Must See Adventures over on YouTube. Scott, happy Friday. What's going on today?
Happy Friday, Mike. Yeah, this Friday just isn't the same, but you know what? I'm so looking forward to a relaxing weekend at home, finally. Missed our home for the last couple of weekends as much as I love to travel, but it's going to be nice to be here in Lansing and just catch up on things around the house. Much needed.
So I don't know if this is the case for you, but there's always something that happens when you get home from a Disney vacation, right? Something always has to, it's either a travel. And I know a lot of our friends that sailed with us on the cruise had a lot of, troubles getting home. I saw, folks heading back Texas way had issues with flight delays circling Houston, and some folks were through Oklahoma were having issues and just stuff like that getting home. And I know you had a flight delay going home. I saw just an hour or so, but we get home, our lawnmower's not working. And of course, when you're gone for a week, the grass in the summer grows, a foot a day. It's just one of those things, man. You get home and it's like, man, everybody's taking care of you on a cruise. You're getting fed great food, making your bed every day, chocolates on the pillow, and then boom, you get home and your lawnmower doesn't even work. I mean, it's always something like that every trip. I mean, is it not? I mean, it kicks you right in the teeth.
It happens all the time. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm waiting for that moment for me,
tread lightly
to see what's going to happen. Hopefully, it stays good, but
yeah.
But you're right. I've had times where our air conditioning wasn't running when we got home. Oh my God, from a summer trip, that was the worst. And yeah, it's crazy how that happens. It's not coming home was bad enough, right? We're just going to throw it all at you. But yeah, the travel issues were kind of crazy. I think there's just weather all over the country right now. Delta, I fly Delta for the most part, and their whole reader board last night was all red. Everything was delayed. And it wasn't just coming from Florida. It was coming from all other airports throughout the country. And I've heard of I had some coworkers today that were flying to Florida for like an event, kind of related to our work today. And they're all delayed too because of the weather like in Florida is so bad. So like it's just kind of crazy with all the delays right now.
Yeah, so let's hope that's all cleared up by now by the time you're hearing this show, and that we're all doing well. We struck a deal with my hero next door, Brad, our awesome neighbor, and if you hear him cutting the grass in the background, we just made a deal with him, so he's the best. So the grass is being mowed, but we are going to be doing all the trimming for both yards. That's kind of the deal. That's how we strike deals.
You made a
in
deal.
the world. We'll do all the trimming. You jump on your tractor's running. We'll get that grass grown so the HOA doesn't come after us right now. All right, so
speaking of HOA, it made me think of head of household. I didn't realize Big Brother had already started. Like
dude, I didn't. Rachel's on, dude. Did you see that?
Yeah. Emily told me that. Emily was like, "Did you know Rachel's on Big Brother?" I'm like, "What? I didn't even know Big Brother was starting to begin with." Like, I'm so out of tune.
I know. I didn't even see it.
But
anyway, I know we can't transfer to Big Brother. I haven't seen any of it yet, but I just did see on Twitter that Rachel's back on, so I might have to flip it on and see. All right, because I wanted to play against her back in the day. All right, so let's talk about our trip today. I think we're going to focus on some of the pre-trip stuff and getting over to Port Canaveral because we went down. Of course, podcast cruise was amazing. We're going to have so many stories. I mean, eventually we're going to be talking about water spouts, possible shark sightings, not confirmed, but I mean, there was a rumor that the beach was closed. We got the lookout key, so we had that. We saw a snake on Lookout Key. I almost stepped on it. We were doing a little nature walk. We have great, the nightlife on the ships, the staterooms, our overall thoughts on the magic, the dining staff. We had so much fun. Just in general, give just like the 30-second thought on the cruise, because we're going to break this down like part by part, but we're going to get into the pre-cruise stuff today.
Absolutely. We'll definitely break it down more, but my 30 seconds is like, I was impressed at how large some of those public areas were, like the like Fathoms and then like Keys, like these lounges, because I'm so used to like the Wish, like being my last couple cruises. I just felt like those spaces were so big, and yet the restaurants were so small, but it all worked. It all worked being like a smaller ship. And the surprising thing to me, like, it never felt too crowded. It never felt too empty. It was just right. It was magical. Absolutely loved the ship.
Yeah, going along with that, we'll get into that as we dive into like the individual spaces on the ship, probably in the next show. But my wife said, because she had not been on a classic ship since she was on the Wonder back when I think Mallory was like 8 or 9, 7 or 8 or something. It's been a minute, but she said like for the first maybe 2 or 3 hours, maybe up until sail away, the ship did feel a little bit smaller because we've been on the Wish, the Fantasy, the Dream, the bigger ships, the last like 5, 6, 7, 8 cruises. But she said after sail away, everything then, you just kind of adjust, and the ship felt just right. Once you were on there for a couple hours, and like we said, for the rest of the sailing, oh man, the public areas they're larger on that ship. It's weird how the public areas feel so much bigger. But we kept commenting like the restaurants were great because you could see everybody in the restaurant, and you can't do that on the Wish, the Fantasy.
Nope. You could see wall to wall, which was unheard of.
It was so nice. It was just comfortable. It was like we kept saying it was like a real restaurant on land.
Yeah, and I'll just say, I know we'll break it down further. Just my last thing, like just navigating that ship was so easy. Like if you wanted to get from aft to forward or vice versa, like I would just be like, we would start that track like, oh man, we got to get going. We got to get the Apollo. We're on the front of the ship, and then boom, we were there in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I just love that. Like, well, how did we get there so quick? I love that ship. I know David in the chat, he was on the ship with us, and like, I won't rank where the magic is. I want to save that, for when we do our full review, but you might be surprised where my answer is. I did enjoy that ship.
Yep. And David in the chat says the Magic was his favorite ship now of all the other ships. And, he said, again, the islands were less crowded because of the amount of guests that these ships hold. And we saw that because when we came back into port, we were there next to the Wish. We got back to Port Canaveral at the end of the cruise. And you could see the size difference because we were right there next to the Wish. And wow, you don't realize how big the Wish is until you're sitting there on the Magic. Because you really mentioned that we met up early that morning. We had to get off the ship. We were up there like 6:30 in the morning, just hanging out on deck 9, deck 10, just looking over, lamenting that the cruise was over. We're standing there like, man, look over at the Wish. Like we're way down low and we're on the top deck.
We're on the top deck, and that isn't even where Cabanas is or the Marceline Market is on the Wish.
Like we're not even close to the top over there. So yeah, it was
man.
great.
Was
All right,
awesome.
so let's talk a little pre-cruise. So now you went down a few days before I did. So how many days did you go down before the cruise? And do you feel like that was kind of the sweet spot for how you'd recommend folks?
It was
go
the
before
perfect
cruise?
sweet spot.
Okay.
So we did. It was 4 nights, but kind of like 3 days, because it was like the first night was kind of like hey, we get there like at 7-8 o'clock, get checked in, have a meal, be fresh for like the next day, kind of a deal, So that was kind of like our buffer to make sure that we can get settled in and all that. But so 4 nights, but it was really like a full like 3 days, and I thought it was perfect, Mike, because with it being 4th of July weekend, we got to see 2 special fireworks shows, right? We got to see the Magic Kingdom salute show. We got to see the Epcot fireworks. Got to spend time at Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom both. So we spent time in all 4 parks, Disney Springs. It was just, you got that taste of all 4 parks. Got to wear ourselves out enough to be ready to relax on the ship. And it's funny when we say that, Mike, like, I know you feel me on this. We always say, like, oh yeah, I'm going to get on the ship and relax. Like, do we ever relax fully? Not really.
We did and we didn't, right? Pam and I talked about this a lot on the ride home on the plane. And, since we've been home, that we were tired when we got home. I mean, we were, because we did, we had definitely relaxing times, the adult areas. I mean, there was a couple different times we had the adult pool all to ourselves because we skipped the show. We decided we're just going to go to the pool. I mean, I'm not really a show guy. Like I go to them sometimes I don't. And it was nice to have that pool of ourselves, like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening as the sun was setting. It was awesome. And, but I mean, we were, I think I overbooked. Well, we could talk about this too, but like, I think it is overbooked too many tastings. I shouldn't have done that, but you get caught up in the excitement when everything's available and you just ride it out. And I didn't want to miss out on being with people that were doing those things, right? Because we've had epic adventures and past cruises doing those things. Moving forward, I probably won't do as many of those things and kind of keep the schedule more open. But yeah, we were kind of going a lot. And we were,
and that was my strategy though, was like, okay, I'm gonna relax on the ship, because that's when you're at home booking these things, right? That's where your mind is thinking, like, oh, I'm gonna cruise, like I know we're gonna get off the ship like at a couple ports, but it's gonna be relaxed time, so we're gonna do lightning lanes, which is what we did, right? We're gonna rope drop, we're gonna do lightning lanes, we're gonna watch fireworks shows, we're gonna wear ourselves out so we can relax on the ship. And that's what we did. And we were tired when we got on the ship. So it worked out really good. But I'll tell you this, Mike, and you and I both have been saying this for years. And it just, solidified it for me again this year. The crowd levels were low again over 4th of July weekend. It really is.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, what did you think? Because we've always said, for some reason, like 4th of July and that week after is a great time to go down. Now, it's always hot. I mean, it's smoking hot down there, but I mean, that's no secret. It's Florida. It's 4th of July. It's always going to be hot from July to like September. If you can tolerate it, you got to get a hotel that's got a nice pool so you can spend a lot of pool time, jump into the parks at night, take breaks and so forth. We all know the strategies, take a fan, all that stuff. But crowd levels are usually so nice this time of year. So that held true. And like you said, you got to see some great fireworks. And
yeah,
so
it held true except for one caveat. And that would just be 4th of July night itself. And I think this year, and I've been to several of these, you've been to several of these with me, and it's just where it landed on the calendar this year, where 4th of July was a Friday.
Yep.
Was it? I think it was Friday.
It was
right?
a Friday. Yeah. Because we came
so
down Saturday.
I think a lot of more locals came out that evening, and maybe not necessarily even at the parks, because when I left Epcot, I've never seen the boardwalk more busy in my life. And you're similar to me with this. Like, I just love that energy. Like, you saw like 40 people in line. I'm not even exaggerating. 40 people in line for ice cream after the fireworks. Like, then you had like all the entertainment on the boardwalk, people like doing hula hoops, like magic, dancing and all this. And it was just an incredible energy. And I really liked that. I mean, it was crowded. If you don't like crowds, it definitely wasn't for you, but that's where I felt the most crowds. It wasn't necessarily in the parks. It was on the boardwalk after the fireworks. It was kind of wild.
So moving into that, you obviously picked the Boardwalk. I kind of just was going to stay where you stay because we were riding together over to the port. Transportation, I was just going down one night before because we had some cheerleading obligations back home, and Mallory wasn't going with us. We didn't want to go down too soon before. So I was just like, wherever you picked, we're going to stay at the same place. You picked the Boardwalk, I guess, obviously because if you were doing the 4th of July stuff, you could walk right from Epcot. I was on board because I love the Boardwalk. It's just a great place to be. I mean, I love the rooms. I thought it was wonderful. We got a great spot. I mean, of course, you get a great room when you have a one-night stay, right? We were joking about that.
That's how it
ours
always
was
works.
like right.
I was jealous of your room location.
Oh, dude, we were right next to the Bellevue Lounge. I mean, we couldn't be any closer. It was just right there. Boom. I mean, it was so easy in and out for us. We were there for one night.
Yeah, and if you're moving your own luggage, the carpeted floors can be tough for those rolling bags.
They're terrible. But I mean, I thought it was great for what we had planned. And like you had the Rosa Mexicana ADR, which was great because it was walkable over to the Dolphin. I mean, what did you think? 'Cause you stayed there longer, stay at the Boardwalk.
It was fantastic. So yeah, it was kind of twofold for our reasoning for the Boardwalk is, and you kind of hit on it earlier, like when you're planning like 4th of July or whatever, like when some of your goals of the trip are, that's kind of like how you should choose your resort. And we knew 4th of July, Friday night, probably going to be busy at Epcot. So it made sense for us to do an Epcot area resort so we could just walk by. Even a Skyliner resort would have been challenging because like the Skyliner, Mike, was to the flying jib that night. I mean, it was wild.
Yeah, for people who didn't hear that was back to the slide at Beach Club. The line for the Skyliner.
And then there was a switchback. Yeah. Once you got closer to the Skyliner, it kind of went backstage, where you would do like Run Disney events and kind of turn behind the Skyliner. Then there was a switchback over there. So it was quite the line. So I'm so glad we had the Boardwalk just for that. But the other reason was they renovated those rooms. Like, gosh, do you think it was like 2 years ago? Maybe 2 to 3 years ago?
Yeah, time flies. I thought it was like 6 months ago, but it probably has been a couple of years. That's how time works.
I know. I think it was more like 2 years ago.
I think so too, yeah.
And the last time we stayed Boardwalk, we were like, the location is great, right? But we're like, the rooms could use maybe some love. So we were really excited to see that. And we couldn't have been more happier. I'm going to ask you the same thought, what your thoughts were on like the room, but like the decor really got me. Like, I love like those pictures they had of like Mickey, like in a carousel or like walking on the boardwalk. They had like the boardwalk touches with the Disney vibe to it too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Pam, I mean, cause again, I of course loved it, right? Like I was like, I wanted to, get a screwdriver out and like take the art off the wall and bring it home because like, I'm like, oh, that looks so good in here for the podcast studio. Like it's perfect. Like it's great. But here's the thing. Pam loved it, right? And she's the one who is not the huge Disney fan. I mean, she likes Disney, but she's not like a nut like us, right? She's kind of casual. And she was noticing like the subtle touches on the light fixtures in the hallways. She's like, I like that. And there were Mickey portraits that were, so I like the Goofy like art that was on the wall, like above the sofa, like a Goofy walking on the boardwalk. And I liked how like in the background it showed like, the actual boardwalk stores. I mean, it was actually on the, art of the boardwalk itself, the resort.
Oh, yeah. You can see like the flying fish. Like,
the flying fish. Like, you can see what's the name of the store? I can't, it was swinging door.
Oh, the thimbles and.
What's something screen door. But, it had all that. And so I was like, oh, that's great. Cause that's exactly where you are. It makes you feel like, yeah, this is awesome. But then like above the beds or alongside the beds, you had like a portrait of like Mickey and Minnie and like old timey. Like it was just, I mean, like they nailed it. Like it had that, like I just wanted to hear Moonlight Serenade like the whole time I was in there.
I know. I heard it once.
It's like so cool. It's like, I'm so in that era. Like it felt great because and also there was lots of outlets. Like they brought it into the era where the room was efficient, but also met the theme. It was a great place.
And one thing Elizabeth pointed out too, that she really liked, like the floor coloring they chose, like really felt like it was sand. Like, like, I don't know, like, and that's all I kept thinking about too. Like, oh my God, like we got our sandy floor, like we're at the beach on the boardwalk, like just the whole color scheme of that room, and the beds are comfortable. It was a good size. Like I just loved it. But and this goes into my post today too, but I discovered something and I got to get your opinion on this. We never actually talked about it. You might have saw my messages on the Discord about it, but with the TV home screen. I discovered something that I've never
you
seen
are on to
before.
something because I was staring at it. Dude, go ahead because I got to tell you something. You had me checking something. Go ahead. I know what you're gonna say.
Because I got to know, like, did this change? And like, I feel like I'm a fairly observant person when it comes to, especially with Disney stuff. But so, everyone knows, like, when you check in, it has your name, like, welcome home or whatever, Ramen family, Gardner family, whatever. And then once you get away from that screen, it'll show like your resort. I call it the resort home screen or whatever. It shows like the boardwalk. And the next morning I turn it on and it's like daytime. I was like, oh yeah, that looks good. It has like a good, like, jazzy, like, old timey, like, music vibe going. So I take a picture of it. It looks cool. And then later that night we have fun. We're going in the parks and I turned on the TV and I was like, and this just really noticed to me because, like, Spaceship Earth is on their back home screen and, like, it was lit up. I'm like, wait a second. I don't remember that being, like, lit up earlier. Like, wait a second. This is night. And it is night now. Like, does the home screen change throughout the day? So I do, like, go back to my picture previously in the day. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, it was light out earlier. So I don't know when this happened. Like, but I feel, because I always felt like the home screens always stayed the same. But now I'm certain, because I confirmed this when I was at Saratoga too, because they did it as well. Yep. There is a day and a nighttime home screen, and I just love that. Have you ever noticed that before, Mike?
I had never noticed this. But here's the thing, because I saw you post this on the Discord, and I was standing, so we were getting ready. We're getting ready to go, like, down to the boardwalk, or we had time to kill. The night we got there, we're gonna do something. We're just gonna walk on the boardwalk or something. It was like 6:58. It was like 58 minutes past the hour, and I was standing there watching that screen, and I'm like, Pam's like, what are you doing?
Changes.
Yes, Pam's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I want to see something. Because I was like, it's either going to be like at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. The sucker's going to change, right? It's going to be at the top of the hour. I'm like, I'm testing a theory for Scott. I want to see if this thing changes, like, from day, because it was still daytime, right? It was still like the light one. Then nothing happened at the top of the hour. They're like, it was too soon. I was like, dang it.
That would have been a sweet video.
She's like,
like
what
a transition
shot. She was like, what are you looking at? Like, you're intently looking at that screen that is just like, you've been staring at it. Like, you've read everything on there. Like, can you not read? I'm like, no. Scott swears this thing changes to night. Like, she's like, really? Like, she thought I lost my marbles. I'm like, no, he has proof. Like, it changes tonight. Like, for real, watch. And then it didn't change. And I was like, okay, let's go get ice cream. Yeah, it was not good.
And then when you came back to the room, then it would have been changed.
It was night. And I'm like, see, I told you, I'm not crazy. It was, or maybe I forgot to show her. I don't know. But it was, and DS DePoint over on Instagram says, yes, just noticed it at the Riviera this weekend. So there you go.
So maybe crazy. It's new. Maybe it is new. Because, like, I just feel like I would have noticed that before. But those are the little details I love, right? Yes. Right? Like, I love that home screen. I love the TV home screens because it's cool. It's got this artwork of your resort. Like, the Coronado is another one that I really like. But now that there's a day and night one, I just think that's a nice little touch that, like, ties into the time of day.
And it's one of those things, like, 99% of the people will never notice it. But when you notice it, it's like, oh, that's a Disney difference. It truly is. I mean, we're talking about it now. So now everybody's gonna be like, dude, I got to look at that home screen. So there you go. All right, let's talk about a couple other things. I want to talk about Rosa Mexicana because it wasn't what I was expecting, but in a good way for me. What about you? What were your thoughts?
It wasn't what I was expecting in a good way as well. I honestly thought it was going to be signature high end.
Same.
Like,
it was expensive. It was expensive.
And I love signature high. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of it was
expensive.
Like signature pricing.
Yeah, it wasn't like LS Teca, yeah.
But I thought it was going to be more like you couldn't talk like in there. You know what I mean? Like, I thought we were going to have to whisper.
Same.
And,
I thought it was going to be all uppity. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, me and Mike are going to have a couple margaritas. Like we might get looked at a little bit, might get kicked out of here. No, we wouldn't get kicked out. We know how to behave. Yeah, but we do. It was loud. It was so loud. And like, I was like, okay, I feel better now. Yeah, I feel better about this.
We're good. Yeah, everybody in here's having margaritas. It's all good. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a cool space. We and it's right off the lobby, which I didn't realize that either. I thought we were gonna have to go somewhere deeper into the restaurant. So that's really cool. So it's at the Dolphin. So right as you walk in, you go through that little revolving door. And like to your right is like the sushi restaurant, I think, right? Or or it could, maybe it's Blue Zoo. It might be Blue Zoo actually. Yeah,
it's right next. It's right next to the fountain. It's right past.
Yeah. Then you got the fountain, and then boom, there's Rosa Mexicana, and like it's a pretty big space. Like it goes pretty deep. We were right in the front there, kind of in that first room, but as you go towards the back, like it's nicely decorated and all that, and like I was really impressed with it, and they were able to work really well with us too. I'll just say this: we had a reservation for 6 people. And we're kind of hanging out with Jason Veronica after the Be Our Guest podcast meetup we had at Splitsville that day. And we asked them, like, hey, do you guys want to try to join in on this dinner? Like, we don't know. We can ask them if we can change it to 8. And it was no problem at all. They made us a table for 8 at the same time we had the reservation. So shout out to them for working with our group. And I thought the staff was great.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the service was wonderful. The food was amazing. And the company was the best. I mean, the company was great. But we had tableside guac, and I mean, that was the first time I'd ever done that. I mean, we had a great time with it. It was. I mean, I'd never done that in my life, but the gentleman came out and made it right there at the table. I mean, and we said
he was locked in. He was locked in on it too.
He was locked in.
You could have been telling like the funniest jokes ever, trying to get him to crack, and he would not.
No, dude, this guy said he was like a percussionist with those spatulas or whatever he was using to create the guac. But I'm telling you what, man,
he had a good cadence going on. I'll tell you
that guac was so good. If I could go back,
I thought the margaritas were really good too. I got
really good.
So I was kind of separated from my family, so I didn't really like get a real time update from Liz. But I found out afterwards she really enjoyed her margarita. I got that spicy cucumber. That was good, and I know you enjoyed. I think you got like a classic margarita, I know you. I think you got a second one. I think you enjoyed it so much.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. It's been a while.
Talk about that dish you got. So that was the thing. So Emily loves fajitas. I know you love fajitas. We all like fajitas, and that is something that is not on this menu here. But they do have this like interesting like skillet for 2, which is what you and Pam ordered. And how was that?
Yeah, I don't really know what it was, but it was a bunch of meat that came out in the middle. Like first they brought out like a mini table, like a mini, like kind of like when you order a pizza and they bring out like the pizza thing in the middle of your table, like the holder. It's kind of like that, but it was a little wooden table. They brought. First of all, when we ordered it, like the waiter said, "Haha, yes," like it was like special that somebody ordered this. I'm like, uh-oh. Like nobody orders this thing, or this is rare. He was happy that we ordered it. I'm like, is that a good thing? Or
we
bad?
finally get to use this.
Yeah,
table
it's like we feel like we finally get to do this. Like, okay, this is happening.
This is what we've been training for.
Yes, like some sucker finally ordered this thing because it's like a meat platter for 2. And so we ordered it because it looked like it was all the components of a fajita, like fajita thing for 2, because it was just a bunch of meats and stuff. But it didn't have, it did have tortillas. Yeah, it did.
It did.
But they brought, man, it was kind of like the skillet over at Whispering Canyon. Dude, it had sausages. It had a steak in there. It had all kinds of meat. Dude,
it was fully loaded.
Dude, it was meat everywhere. And I'm telling you what, it was super good. I mean, I had the meat sweats when I left. I mean, it's just like getting the skillet at Whispering Canyon, but a little Mexican twist on it. It was great. But holy cow, we'd eaten a pound of guacamole at this point, like 7 pounds of chips, and salsa, and I mean, it was just
those chips were good. They came out like really fresh and warm too. Like those were really great. And I would say like my only downside to that meal was so I got tacos, Liz got tacos, so did Jason, and the tortilla just kind of fell apart when you picked it up. Basically, so you'd pick it up and then you go to take a bite and boom, it just exploded basically. So you had to like knife and fork the tacos, but the flavor was really good. That's the thing, like they tasted really good, but you just couldn't pick it up and hold it. So that was like kind of like my downside to that, but the food quality was really good. I really enjoyed everything I had there.
Yeah, Stacy's tuned in from Tepanito over on Instagram, so shout out Stacy.
Way to go, Stacy.
Enjoy Tepanito. Got that on the mind. But yeah, so Rosa Mexicana, I would go back. I would definitely do that again. That was a nice addition to the Mexican restaurant portfolio down at Walt Disney World.
So there's something I wanted to share that I think could be good for the listeners that I didn't even tell you, Mike. So with the loss of Magical Express the last few years, right? And a lot of questions is how do I get to parks? How do I get to my resort? So a lot of times my family will rent a car, which is what we did on this trip, but we did something we don't do very often.
Got bicycles.
We did a point-to-point rental car.
Okay.
So we rented our car on, it would have been Wednesday night, the night we got in. So we drove it to Boardwalk. Then we had it Thursday. And then we knew like, okay, we're going to be at Epcot Friday for 4th of July. Then we're doing Splitsville. Then we're taking the ride to the port. So I was like, we don't need the car anymore. So like we should drop it off then. So we dropped it off at the care center at over by the Magic Kingdom that morning. And let me tell you, that is like the easiest process ever, especially if you run through National, which is the company that we use. So that morning, we wanted to go to Magic Kingdom, so which made sense. That's kind of how we planned it. So we just drove over there. We dropped off the rental car, and there was a long line for people like wanting to rent cars. But they're like, "Are you just here for a drop off?" And we're like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, like, do you want your receipt printed or emailed?" Like, email. They took the keys. I'm like, "What slot are you in?" Like, I parked it there in number 5. They're like, "Okay, where do you want to go to next?" Because they will shuttle you. They have these vans. They'll take you wherever you want to go on property. So I didn't want to be like, "Yeah, I want to go to Magic Kingdom," because they probably would have taken me to like the TTC or something, you know?
Exactly. You said,
so I said,
were you like Grand Floridian or something?
So I said, I'd like to go to the Grand Floridian.
You know what you're doing. Exactly. It's baller
So then,
move. Yeah, you would have been TTC for sure. You're smart.
Yeah, so they took us to the Grand Floridian, and then, they dropped us right up front, you know, at the turnaround. And, you know, I mean, and they can accept tips. So I gave them a few bucks, you know, it's a really nice service. And then when we went upstairs and like the monorail was right there, this whole process from when we left the boardwalk to do all this couldn't have been more than 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
And we were like at the Magic Kingdom. So just want to say, like, if you want to rent a car and you just want to maybe do like a 1 day or 2 day rental just for like a couple days for your trip, that car center is really convenient for doing a drop off, and then they'll take you wherever you want to go on property after that.
Dude, that is so good to hear, because people are always having that question about, you know, how to get around and stuff like that. And to know that you just did that this past week, and that it is current, and that it is efficient, and that it worked out well. So who was that? This was with National?
So I used National. So they're kind of owned by it's National, Alamo, and then Enterprise are kind of like the same company. So if you rent through one of those three, that service would still be available to you.
Dude, that sounds.
Now, I will say, now, if you rent from there, so this is going to be the tricky part. Their cars are very limited compared to what you would see at Orlando, because Orlando, you got this huge parking garage worth of cars. This is like a car center, like attached to the Speedway gas station. So their car availability is not the greatest. So if you're picking up a car, it's just going to be based on who's dropping things off, right? So just know that you might not get the biggest like SUV or whatever. You're going to be very limited, but for drop-offs, I think it's a great option.
Yeah, and they also do pick you up at your resort too. They'll come in.
Oh yeah. Pick you up at your resort. Yeah, if you want to get the rental. Yeah. So I think it's awesome. So highly recommend for those that are trying to find alternate transportation options.
Enterprise, they pick you up. That's a good St. That's a good St. Louis company. They're based out of St. Louis.
Oh yeah, they're St. Louis.
Our hockey team, the Blues, play out of the Enterprise Center. Okay, so let's talk about our Splitsville meetup. Shout out to everybody who came to the meetup, especially Trisha, who put it on for us. We appreciate her so very much. She coordinated all that, got all the lanes for us. Man, we had a good time. So what'd you think of Splitsville and the bowling and everything? All the you almost broke it at the end, but what'd you think before that?
It was a lot of fun. And again, shout out to Trisha. It's incredible how Trisha knew that the time on that day, you know, during the thunderstorm that happened,
that it was going to pour.
Stay dry.
Yes, I mean that it was just going to absolutely pour during that hour and a half or two. Yeah.
It was great. So we had fun. Like for 2 hours, like we didn't get as much bowling in because I think everyone was just having a great time chatting. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like we met so many people from the Discord. Like I don't even want to like necessarily shout out everyone's name because I don't want to like leave off someone's name. That's always the worst. But it was so great. Like people were just popping in and out throughout the whole thing, whether they were bowling or not. And it was so great to say hi. We did like a group picture at the end. But I will say it was just a great casual event to be able to sit down, talk to someone, and then you go up and bowl, and then you sit back down, talk with someone, or stay standing. It was a great opportunity to mingle while it was loud in there, because it is a loud place. It's bowling alley, you know. It was a little loud, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I just thought it was great. I thought it was a great place for a meetup because you don't need a theme park reservation either, or a theme park ticket. So I think that also helps too, because a lot of people could be hanging out. It could be an arrival day. Maybe they don't have a park ticket. Maybe they don't want to go to one of the water parks. So I think that was a great setup for a meet. And I just thank Trisha so much for doing that.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, we'll probably do another meetup there sometime because it's easy to grab some, you know, quick bites, grab a drink, you know, bowl if you want to. Some people bowled, some people didn't. Bowled terribly. My back was jacked up. I was just glad.
Who was the winner? Who was the champion?
I can't. Pam bowled pretty well. I know that.
Yeah,
but
Pam was the
pretty
champion.
well.
Pam had the best game.
Pretty well. Yeah, but and the thing was, like after that, my back hurt so bad bowling that I never did go down the aqua dunk on the cruise. I was like, dude, my back hurt so bad from bowling. I'm not even going down that.
Maybe that was a good thing.
It probably was, because one day I kind of thought, I think it was on the C day, the last day. I was like, dude, this is my chance. And I was like, dude, no.
There was one day I was sitting watching Funnel Vision by myself. Like, it was actually kind of a chill time. It was a day I wasn't feeling well. We'll talk about that when we talk more about the Magic. But I think everyone was like in the show watching Tangled, and I was just sitting out, and I was like looking at Funnel Vision, which that's where the aqua dunk is on the other side of it. And I was just like, I don't know about that thing. Like
it taunts you, right? I mean, it's like
because
I thought about
wonky.
it.
It's like an addition, right? It's an add-on to that funnel, and it just looks like, who put that thing together? Like, it just looks sturdy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely an add-on. Yeah, you can tell that's not a like wasn't on there back in '98, dude. Somebody bought that and like, hey, how can what can we add on this ship to make it?
Let's go to Home Depot, buy a couple things.
Exactly. What are we gonna do here? Because I didn't see that many people on it ever. Like,
I didn't. Honestly, it took me a couple days to realize how did you even get to the line to get on that thing?
Exactly. I mean, think about it. Like, seriously. I mean, like, at my age, I really don't need the floor falling out from under me in any circumstance. Like, I don't need that anxiety. Like, I mean, I'm getting there. Like, and I seriously had a like life crisis when I thought about that on the cruise. I'm like, if I reach that point in my life where I am at the point I'm worried about the floor falling out from under me, because it used to be like a thrilling thing, and I don't want that heat anymore. Like, seriously, I remember I was walking past the Duck Inn Diner when that thought came to me. I was like, dude, I mean, that used to be cool. Like, now I'm like, dude, I don't want that floor falling out from under me. What is going on in my life? Like, I'm just like, that's what I said.
I didn't see many people do it. I really didn't see that thing running. Maybe it wasn't running that much either. I don't know. It could have been the high winds or something.
I don't know. I'm getting to be a wuss. I don't know.
Going back to Splitsville though, so how Trisha set that up, she set it up in advance. I think she called them or maybe she even booked it online, but she reserved a couple lanes for 2 hours, and you are stuck to a time limit. So it's not based on, you got 5 people on each lane, and they play 2 games each. It's like however many people you want on each lane, and you bowl for 2 hours. And it is a strict 2 hours. So like the countdown's kind of going down. We know we have 1 minute left, and I think it was me and Kim. We're up there. Let's just get one more ball in. So we were rushing. We go really fast. I roll my ball, and right as I roll it, the lane drops. Like where like they where they would like clean up the pins. And my I think someone has it on video. My reaction was like, I was scared. Like I was like Disney security was going to come after me. Because like I just smacked that little divider where the pins were. I'm surprised I didn't break something, but it was kind of funny. Yeah, they just like shut the lane off, boom, right when it's at 2 hours. So just know that they don't mess around.
It's on my reels. There's a reel that shows you hitting it, and then with a shocked look, it goes black. Boom, you smoke the gutter guard or whatever it is, and then. But we also figured you kind of bowl like Fred Flintstone too. So there's lots of Fred Flintstone bowling on that reel.
We learn a lot about each other when we bowl.
Go to my reels and you'll see Fred just got bowling like Fred Flintstone.
Yeah. Okay, Melissa has a nice little curve on her ball.
Yes, she does.
But what's cool about there too, like at other bowling alleys too, you can set it up so you have the gutters too. I think Catherine from Michigan, she showed up, which was awesome, and then they brought like this little thing that's helpful for kids where you can just kind of put the ball, the ramp. Yep. Yeah. But then, and then we had Tracy and her husband were there. I mean, I think the Bankhead showed up. I mean, we had a great turnout. It was a lot of fun. It was a great time.
Alton was represented. Okay. So
Alton, Illinois was represented.
Home of the Pie Saw Bird, by the way, and Fast Eddie's and the Alton Bell. All right. So let's, Robert Wadlow, the world's tallest man. Okay, so got all my references in. All right, so let's also talk about a couple of, because we got about 10 minutes left. So any other things that you did, because you were down there longer? I mean, you mentioned times in the parks. Did you guys? What other meals? Because you always
I want to talk about the July 3rd fireworks at Magic Kingdom. Well, I guess the 4th of July fireworks. So they run I think it's kind of well known, but in case you don't know, they run I would call a preview, right? The night before, like a test run, just to make sure they're good for the 4th of July. And maybe this is a controversial opinion. I'd love to talk about this with you, what your thoughts are on this, Mike. But I think watching those fireworks from outside the park is a better experience than inside for 4th of July because of the perimeter shots. Because like, I think we're even just talking about this on the Discord recently, like the Polynesian gets kind of crazy on 4th of July. And I really think it should be, and it was in the past, like we stayed at the Polynesian on the 4th of July and it was reserved where you had to have a wristband proving that you were staying at the resort to be on the Poly Beach. It sounds like this year they just opened it up to anyone, which sounds like it was a disaster. Because I think that would be your prime spot because you're like spot on with the Magic Kingdom, and then you can just see the perimeter. Because we watched it from the Narcoossee's deck, and it was cool. It was cool as heck just seeing like the perimeter shots. And I was just thinking, like, if you were in the park, you might not get quite that perspective or that scope. I mean, it'd be cool being in there, but it was just our kind of thoughts were like, I think that's a better viewing experience outside of the park, personally.
I think it is too. But I am one of those people that I say that they should, and I mean, we ever catch some heat for this, but they should limit the Polynesian Beach to people that are staying at the Polynesian. They should do the wristbands because you're paying a premium to stay there on the 4th of July, and it shouldn't be overrun. And I say this as somebody who has gone there as a non-Polynesian guest on the 4th of July. But I just think that times are different now. Like everybody knows the secret, and it's become a madhouse. The secret's out. It's just, too many people there. It's too crazy now. Like if you're staying there, you shouldn't not be able to get a spot on the beach to see the fireworks. Like you're paying $1,000 a night for a hotel room. You should be able to see it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I will say that's a great show.
It is. Oh yeah.
It's a really great show. Like they play some patriotic music, obviously. And like, at one point, I think it was like 3 or 4 minutes into it. Like I thought it was ending, and I said to Elizabeth, like, and Emily, like, "Oh man, that was a great show." And then it went on for like another 10 minutes. But it was just never ending. Like I was highly impressed by that. I feel like, and I said to the girls, like, "Have we ever watched this before?" They convinced me. They proved to me that we had watched it in the parks once. We were actually with you in the Foresters. We weren't on Main Street. I think we were out by Big Thunder watching it.
Oh yeah. We were in that little nook there.
Yeah, which was actually kind of cool. I mean, it was kind of different. Like if you're in the park, I think I'd rather be on Main Street to watch those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like that perspective from the monorail resort. So that's just a little something. So not that I want everyone to like take my strategy here, but like having like the Narcoossee's dinner timed up with the July 3rd fireworks or on July 4th, I thought was a fun way to experience that.
So was the 4th of July, because we mentioned like the craziness on the boardwalk and all that stuff, which is fun because, I mean, you're walking back. It's not going to affect you getting back to your room. You can walk around people. But I mean, what was Epcot like on the 4th of July for the fire? Because I love that energy around. I mean, especially when you don't know you're not waiting for a bus later.
It's a great energy, but I got to tell you, I got to share a story. So like 4th of July at Epcot, you want to, this is just like New Year's Eve. You want to have a plan, right? Like you want to make sure you have a nice place to eat, so that you can like sit down, have a restroom to use, be comfortable before you like get your spot for the fireworks. So our plan was, and we talked about this. I asked you on the live show, like, "Hey, where do you think I'm going to be eating this night?" And I told you
You got to tell.
I told you I'm going to be dining at La Celia, and how excited I was because it had been years since we've been there. And we ran to the Bankheads shortly before that. They had already eaten, and Mike was kind of like, "Oh, I like your strategy there. Like, I'm already like eating and like I'm ready to like call it night. Like that's good that you're eating later so that you'll have like a little more energy." I was like, "Yeah, I know what I'm doing, Mike." So we had
you thought my famous last words. Go ahead.
I know. I think we had like a 7 o'clock, 6:50, something like that, La Celia. So we started heading our way over there, and then we get to like that bridge by like the Victoria Gardens down there, and like I see like 8 cast members just standing in front of the door of La Celia. As I'm on that bridge, we're like taking photos and stuff. And I'm like, we should probably go over there and see what's going on. I know it's not quite our reservation time because we're going to watch the show, like Canada Far and Wide, but like something's up. Something seems weird. So we go over there and there is a technical issue with the restaurant and they are currently not open on 4th of July.
So weird. So
weird. And I understand things that happen, but this is what, and maybe this is just my feedback for Disney, and like maybe they can do something about this. When you make a reservation, you always put in your phone number and your email. And because we made more reservations after this point, like after the cruise, we made some reservations, and this was kind of like our joke, like, "Oh, it's asking me for my phone number in case if there's any issues with my reservation or if they need to contact me about my reservation." That's interesting. there was an issue with my reservation at Le Cellier on 4th of July, but they never once contacted me about it.
Or send a text. I mean, they could
send a text.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have done something so that we could have like make some kind of last minute change, right? Because like here we are now, it's 7:00. Fireworks are going to start in a couple hours, and now we don't have a dinner reservation. They're telling me to like, go to Norway, and I don't like that meal. I don't like the. I mean, I like the princesses and all that, but that's not what I wanted. You know, that's not like the dinner menu I wanted on 4th of July. Or they're like, well, you can go to Garden Grill, but it's like it'll be at 9:00. Like, oh well, that's when the fireworks.
Exactly, it's not going to work on the 4th. I came here for the fireworks. It's the 4th of July. Yeah,
it was a tough situation, and like people were upset. I mean, we were just cool. We were just like, we just wanted to know like why didn't they notify us? And this is interesting, but they were giving like counter service vouchers to like a lot of the people. They didn't give us one. I don't know why they didn't give us one, but it's fine. But I was like, well, Liz, we just got to make a move. We got to decide what we're going to do. And like, I'm looking at mobile ordering, and I'm like, Regal Eagle is a 2-hour like mobile order time. You know, like now like everything is out of control. Yep. Now I'm starting to get a little like fired up a little bit. Like
I've been there on New Year's Eve. I can remember one time I just got China like white rice because it was all I could get.
I'm like, what are we gonna do? Like, I can't mobile order anything, and then just my brain wasn't like must have been foggy, or I just wasn't thinking right just because of the situation. And Liz was like, we could just walk up to the restaurant.
We could go 1984 and just walk right up and order.
So like, Regal Eagle, because my mind just went to Regal Eagle at that point because it's 4th of July. I was
that's a good call.
I don't want to go anywhere else at this point. That's where I want to go. And then she's like, we could just go there and like wait in line and order. I'm like, oh yeah, we could do that. And you know what? It was faster than the wait time. And I heard from the grapevine, just because like that restaurant was crowded, people were hovering, trying to find tables. It was a madhouse, people trying to stalk out tables. And people with mobile orders were waiting a very long time. It was going beyond their wait time because they were just so busy with people like me going in and like, placing orders. So it actually worked out to our benefit. And it worked out like we had barbecue on the 4th of July. And I know Ricky is not here for this episode, so I'll have to tell her when she gets back. But I did not know this. They don't have the garlic toast there anymore. It's cornbread.
Ricky ate it all the last 5 years. That's what
Ricky ate all.
To get an
she
update.
took all the garlic toast.
Because she always like
Regal
triple
Eagle.
orders it. It was by accident. Yeah. Now I think
it's probably still in her purse. From
probably. We'll check.
But yeah, did you know they changed the cornbread there? Or?
I know. I haven't been there the last couple trips. I need to get back there. There's so much good food in World Showcase, and I eat barbecue at home a lot.
But it worked out really great. I met a listener of the podcast in line. He heard me talking.
He heard you like, I didn't get all the sell you. Hey, Scotty.
Actually, it was actually Liz. Liz was kind of ranting. She's like, afterwards, she's like, oh my God, he probably heard me.
That's me. That's always me. I'm always like, hey, are you Mike from the? Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I was just complaining about something.
Super sweet family from Atlanta. Actually, no. From South Carolina, I believe, but he was wearing a Brave shirt. So sorry, and I have his name somewhere. Sorry, we're recording live. I mean, that was like 2 weeks ago at this point, but they were super sweet. They watched the YouTube channel. He said like we're the only family his wife has ever watched on YouTube, and I thought that was kind of sweet. So
that is sweet,
cool. So it worked out in the end. We got to talk to a great listener of the podcast, so it was a good night. And then we stationed up in Norway to watch the fireworks because I heard that the tag, like the 4th of July tag, was going to be over like behind the American Adventure. So I felt like we had a better angle to watch that. And like, then I got confirmation that the ground still shakes on 4th of July at Epcot. And it was a great experience. So yes, it was a struggle. We ended up saving probably like $200 not eating at Le Cellier when you think about it. So that went towards the Rosa Mexicana meal the next day. But
I didn't see that, Bill.
You know what? It all worked out. You just got to have a good perspective on life. Sometimes things just don't work out. Still don't understand why they couldn't notify us when they have our phone number. But you know what? It was still a great 4th of July.
That is good feedback for Disney, though. They could just send a text. I mean, they text you 7 times, your room's not ready. Like your room, we'd like to inform you that your room's not ready. And then an hour later, your room is still not ready. Like, go on. Like,
why they couldn't text us that the restaurant wasn't ready, I don't know. But that's okay. We made it work out.
Exactly. Well, I mean, good attitude, and it all worked out. You got barbecue on 4th of July. That's how it's supposed to be. The universe came back together. So what we're going to do is next time we're back together, we are going to talk about, we're going to take it from here because we had the excitement of the morning we got up and got our transfers over to Port Canaveral. It was fun because I got up super early that morning, jumped on the treadmill because I knew was going to be wrecking some food over the next 5 days. I was on that treadmill down at the boardwalk, and then I see Scotty G out doing his morning walk and getting some video and stuff, and gave him the double, finger guns there because I could see right through the window. He was doing his walk out there, and I was like, yes, here we go. We're getting ready to sail. It was great. That meant the morning was going to be awesome. So we're going to pick it up from our transfers over to Port Canaveral from the boardwalk and talk about embarkation, the sail a wave party on the Disney Magic First Impressions at the lobby. That was fun, and all this stuff. So we're going to next time we get together, all about the magic. So we'll talk about that. So Scotty G, a little pre-cruise stuff. A lot of fun today. A lot of fun reliving all that. We did a lot before the cruise.
And I'm, as much as the pre-cruise stay was, I can't wait to talk about the magic.
I know.
That is a magical ship.
It was. I mean, we had to talk about this stuff because, this stuff was a lot of fun too, and I wanted to give it its time. So, I know people want us to talk about the cruise, but, we had to talk about all this stuff too, so didn't want to skip it.
It's a slow burn. It is a slow burn.
We're content creators, you don't want to throw this stuff out. You got to use it. gotta have shows on this because Boardwalk and all this stuff was fun. Rosa Mexicana and the Splitsville meetup was awesome, so we had to talk about it. All right, don't forget today's show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure: Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, even Adventures by Disney. No additional cost to you. Check out the details this weekend over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Just click through there and it takes you right back to the page, and it supports the show with every purchase. You can also support us on Patreon. It's patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. $5 a month is all it costs. And for that, you get a bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. Thanks to everybody who supports us over there already. You guys are all stars. Appreciate you so much. You can support us as well. Again, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. We'll have a live show this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central in a couple of days. Scott will join me. We'll take your calls, open up the phone lines, and have a great time. We'll talk some more cruising, whatever is on your mind. We will talk about that. So join us in all the locations: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, or Twitch. Be there, and we'll have a good time Sunday night. Also, join us in the clubhouse. That thing has exploded over the past month. We have so many folks over there. There's no ads. There's no nonsense. It's just a bunch of Disney fans having a great time. We're over 1,425 listeners over there. Thanks again to Jordan for making that place extremely awesome over the past month, adding a banner, adding all these cool emojis to it, custom emojis. It's just awesome. If you haven't seen it in the last month, get over there, check it out. It is better than ever. So just coming over, it's beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. Also, there's going to be a Discord meetup down at Walt Disney World in October during the race weekend for Wine and Dine. So check out all the details in the meetup channel over in the Discord. Mohawk wanted me to remind everybody. So just get your mind wrapped around that. We're having a meetup for everybody. So check that out as well. Finally, you can check us out on the social media. I'm at BRGuestMike, Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. Scott's at Epscott, EPSCOT, same locations, but check them out. Must-see adventures on YouTube. Scott, what's happening on the channel real quick before we get out of here for the weekend?
Well, we've been on vacation, so got to do some more editing, but we are still in Hawaii. Our next episode hopefully comes out this weekend, where we'll be on the famous North Shore. Got to catch some waves.
Dun, 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 dun. All right.
There you go.
All right. So we're going to jump out of here. Wish you a great weekend. We'll be checking back with you on Sunday night, where that's your show. So give us a call. Let's talk some Disney. So for Scott, I'm Mike. Wish you a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.